Committee will come to order. Good morning. Chairman Brady will be joining us shortly, but out of respect for everyone's time, we'll go ahead and get started. Today, our committee is honored to welcome Department of Labor Secretary Alexander Acosta to testify as part of our hearing series on jobs and opportunity. While much of his department's work is under the jurisdiction of other committees, we appreciate the Secretary taking time to testify today on issues under the Ways and Means Committee's jurisdiction, particularly the important role the department plays in connecting the unemployed with work opportunities as our economy continues to grow. Thank you for joining us to provide a federal perspective on this important issue. Our economy is flourishing and there are millions of jobs which need to be filled. On today, Tax Day, we recognize that in just 3 months since the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was signed into law, we've seen over 600,000 new jobs created. Yet from our work in the Human Resources Subcommittee, we know there are still millions more struggling to get ahead. The labor market is strong. Employers have added an average of over 200,000 jobs per month so far in 2018, and the unemployment rate is 4.1%, its lowest level since the 1990s. We are going to need more workers to fill these jobs if we are going to keep this momentum going. This is the second in an important series of hearings the committee is having to demonstrate how employers are struggling to fill jobs in order to expand their businesses. Meanwhile, millions of Americans are stuck on the sidelines, creating a major jobs gap. You will see on the screen we have a chart showing the difference between employers' demand for workers, shown as job openings, and the declining number of individuals in the workforce, shown as the labor force participation rate. The space in the middle, separating those two lines, is what we are calling the jobs gap. As an example of how tight the job market is right now, I noted in last week's HR subcommittee hearing a report from the Wall Street Journal which indicated if every jobless citizen in 12 Midwestern states, including Nebraska, was paired with an open job, our region would still be left with 180,000 unfilled positions. At last week's hearing, we heard from several employers from across the country: home builders in central Arizona, a boat manufacturer from Indiana, an aerospace company in Wichita, Kansas. All of these employers have one thing in common. They are facing a shortage of workers, which is threatening their ability to fill orders and expand their businesses. In fact, one of our witnesses, Heather Terenzio, the CEO of a software development company in Boulder, Colorado, worked with the Department of Labor to develop the first registered software development apprenticeship in the country to create a talent pipeline for bringing coders into her company. One of the things she said was very striking. A college degree is not required to be a great software developer. One of her first hires was a janitor at a school she was speaking at who had grown up in the foster care system with his mother in and out of jail. He had grown up playing video games and teaching himself code and was able to become a contributing member of her team. Heather's story could be repeated across industries and employers. There are good jobs out there, and you don't need a college degree for many of those jobs. She has hired individuals from all skill levels and backgrounds and said as long as they have the desire and interest, she is able to set them on a career path in a desirable field with unlimited potential. Another witness from our hearing, Brian Potozik, had spent years in and out of Arizona correctional facilities and struggled with addiction to prescription drugs after having his wisdom teeth pulled. Brian participated in a training program developed through a partnership with the prison and the Central Arizona Home Builders Association. The partnership is business-driven and focused on building a labor pipeline in the construction trades where employers are in desperate need of workers. Brian is now an electrician earning $22 an hour and credits the training with changing his life. Brian also told us he was far too busy with work to even think of returning to his previous ways. As far as I'm concerned, this is the perfect example of a win-win situation. Arizona home builders are able to fill job openings, and most importantly, Brian has his life back and is able to restore his commitment to his family and society. This is how important bridging this jobs gap is. If we can solve this challenge, it will be an across-the-board victory for American workers, American families, American businesses, and the American economy. Secretary Acosta, we look forward to your testimony and finding ways this committee can work with you to help workers find jobs, support their families, and achieve the American dream.